Here's a word to the wise: boycott. A refusal to deal with a group or organization because of its policies.
An embarrassing moment for China on the grounds of ancient Greece. Protesters busting past security, flashing banners, boycott the Beijing Olympics, as a Chinese official spoke during the symbolic lighting of the Olympic torch. The 5 Olympic rings shown as handcuffs. The host of the Summer Games, the target of world condemnation for its crackdown in Tibet and its lack of human rights at home.
They should never have given the Olympics to a country that's run by a dictatorship.
President Bush is promising to attend the Games in Beijing, saying it's not about politics, but about sport.
We've been talking this week about the relationship between China and Tibet. There have been violent clashes there between activists and security forces and protests following the path of the Olympic torch. Now, as you may remember, China is hosting this year's Olympic Games, but the tension between the country and Tibet isn't anything new. Conflicts between the two sides date back nearly a century. Hugh Remington takes us on a journey into Tibet and gives us some of the history of the Chinese region.
For hundreds of years, Tibet has been a place of myth-making and mysticism, the ultimate inaccessible mystery land.
Tibet, the roof of the world.
During World War II, an Austrian fleeing a British camp in India stumbled into Tibet. Brad Pitt played that man, Heinrich Harrer, in the Hollywood version, 7 years in Tibet. The Austrian became a tutor to Tibet's God King, a boy called the Dalai Lama. In 1950, Chairman Mao's Red Army swept into Tibet, liberating it, as the Chinese see it, from feudal rule. When an uprising failed 9 years later, the Dalai Lama fled into exile. Since then, he has won global fame, a Nobel Prize, but he has never been allowed home. Blamed by China for masterminding the protests, the Dalai Lama, who denies those allegations, has offered to resign as leader of Tibet's government in exile if his supporters commit more violence. He wants to speak with the Chinese leadership, but talks, supported by the United States and others, appear unlikely for now. China claims to have evidence, as yet unrevealed, that the Dalai Lama did incite violence. The Chinese anger appears to be extreme. A senior official said this week that the Dalai Lama was a wolf in monk's clothing. A devil, he said, with the face of a human, but the heart of a beast. Hugh Remington, CNN, Beijing.